A lot of people like to compare, I guess, Luka's game to yours at times, just given how crafty you guys could be and how you guys both thrive outside of the three-point line. I'm just curious what you thought of his game and whether you think those comparisons are fair.
Luka is Luka Doncic. He's he's obviously he plays at his own pace, and I mean there are some similarities. He never lets anyone speeds him up, and he gets what he wants. And that's rare for a guy at a young age. I think he's 21 years old, to be able to dictate the game and control the game like he does. So obviously we all know he has a very, very bright future, and the Mavs got a special one.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Have you ever had a basketball take in your mind that you didn't really want to say out loud because you were afraid people might take it the wrong way, but at the same time, man, like, it's just there, and it's not going to go away until you say something about it? That's what today's video is. It's not really, like, related to the playoffs, but I guess in a way, how the playoffs end for this particular player, who you know is Luka Doncic now based off the title of the video. The question I have for you guys is Luka Doncic and what's going on with the Dallas Mavericks and the way their offense is orchestrated and the way that Luka plays, is it very, very similar to James Harden and the hero ball that he played on the Houston Rockets? Now, I'm not saying right now James Harden, because James Harden right now, at the making of this video, well, we all know that there's questions if he deserves a Supermax or not, right, man? So yes, not that James Harden. I'm talking about the James Harden that back in the 2018-2019 season dropped 36 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists per game. That's the guy that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the guy who really, when it comes to my top shooting guards of all time, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, I'd say Dwayne Wade, James Harden, then Allen Iverson? Something like that. Now, before we get going on today's video, as you guys know, maybe you don't know, but actually when I started this series, I bought this guy right here. This is Damian Lillard. And I said for every 10,000 subscribers I hit, I am going to add a team or a teammate to Team Dame. And we're about 5 subscribers away from 280,000. And I thought it would be no better video than right now than to add in the backcourt at shooting guard or point guard or small forward. The dude can do it all, man. We got Luka Doncic, baby. We got Luka Doncic joining the man's team. It's a crispy looking figure right there. Check that out, man. You can see that. I mean, hairstyle looking very dapper as always. So we're going to plop him right there, man. So when we hit 290,000, we're going to add another member to the team. So see you all in 3 years. The reason I think they're so similar is I know the first thing people want to jump to is playoffs, because James Harden is notorious for not really doing well in the playoffs. And, well, to the extent where it's like, yes, when he played for the Houston Rockets, he did get caught playing against the Golden State Warriors, with Kevin Durant quite a bit. I mean, that's not fun for anybody, let alone James Harden. But, man, it's like we don't really know Luka Doncic's playoff history yet. He's not really been around long enough to really give us that connotation if he is a choker or not. So we can't really make that comparison. So really, I look at the style of play, the trajectory of the team, and kind of like how it relates to James Harden in that sense. So, back in the 2018-2019 NBA season, James Harden, like I was saying, average, it was 36 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists and 7 rebounds per game. And on that team with him, he had Chris Paul, Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker, Clint Capella. They rocked it out for that season, and you could see that the way that they played, obviously you couldn't really run CP3 with James Harden, because what makes CP3 great is that he's one of the greatest floor generals of all time, and if the ball is not in his hands, then, it's like, CP3 can still be a great player, but not as great, right? And vice versa. It's like James Harden, you typically want the ball in his hands. If it's in Chris Paul's hands, then all of a sudden he's going back to his OKC Thunder days, playing off of Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, as a 6-man, by the way. So you had him, had Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker, Clint Capella. Eventually, they just found that did not work. It just did not work. The style they wanted to play was this heavy isolation, drawing fouls type of play. So eventually, they traded away Clint Capella. They put TJ Tucker at the center position. And it was atrocious to watch. I did not enjoy watching that version of James Harden. It was not fun. So now I look at Luka Doncic and kind of what they're doing with their roster right now. So for the 2021-2022 NBA season, Luka's averaged 28 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. Now the way that he plays, honestly, when it comes down to their physicality, James Harden has a way to use his body to draw fouls. He's very elusive with it, where, Luka can obviously get to the free throw line and everything, but the way he uses his body, I think it's a bit different where it's like, he knocks down the three-point shot and stuff like that, but also like into the basket, not so much about like drawing the contact, but he's just very good at like using it to create space and all that good stuff that comes with that, right? So you look at this Mavericks team this season, you got Luka, you got Jalen Brunson, who doesn't have the, I guess, credibility as a player that a guy like Chris Paul would have, so I think that works just for that reason right there. Like, Jalen Brunson can play off ball, he's completely cool doing that, and the team's not going to suffer because of it. Then you got Dorian Finney-Smith, who rocks it out there, man. He's a great player that I think fits along so many superstars out there. Like, he's just one of those just like do it all type of guys. Then you got Dwight Powell, who is kind of in a way like the best comparison you could have to Clint Capella back on the Houston Rockets. And then for the fifth roster spot, I say roster spot, I don't want to say like power forward or center because we are pretty much positionless basketball. You had Kristaps Porzingis before he was traded away, had Reggie Bullock, Tim Hardaway Jr., man, THJ, man. So they got rid of Porzingis, they got rid of their big guy. You got Dwight Powell, yeah, he's like 6'8", 6'9", or whatever, but it makes you wonder if going forward they are going to go that further step and just get rid of like that center position altogether and have all these specialty players. And that's essentially what the Kristaps Porzingis trade was. They traded him over to the Washington Wizards for Spencer Dinwiddie, who in a way his specialty is kind of like controlling the tempo of the game off the bench. And you got Davis Bertans, whose specialty is shooting threes. You got Reggie Bullock on the team, whose specialty is shooting threes. Even when they had Seth Curry on the squad, it's like, it seems what they are trying to do is surround Luka with all these specialty guys and just let him go to work. And that was the same case with James Harden. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad route to go, especially if there's any era of basketball you can get away with that, it's right now. But what I'm saying is that when it comes down to playoff success, is it going to lead to the glory road of an NBA championship? And that's what I get nervous about, man. All right, let me pull it up real quick here. Keep in mind, I am doing this before Game 6 of the 2022 NBA Finals. So, yes, we are going to look at this Game 5 in which the score was 110-80 Phoenix Suns over the Dallas Mavericks. And on that game, Luka Doncic, 28 points, 11 rebounds, and just everybody else with the exception of Jalen Brunson, was just really bad at basketball. And I think even so, like more so when James Harden was playing against, teams like the Golden State Warriors and his playoff collapses. Yes, he struggles with turnovers in the postseason. So it makes me nervous that when you don't have that next player next to a James Harden or a Luka Doncic, and it's like, okay, we can focus just on at least somewhat negating Luka Doncic, but at the same time, it's like just shut everybody else down. Then that's where it gets a little scary. It's like, who's going to take that pressure off him? You know what I'm saying? And Kristaps Porzingis, we thought he was going to be like, we thought he was going to be that dude, but he just isn't. Like, Kristaps is fine, just too many injuries and stuff like that. But yeah, so I asked you guys about this on Twitter. We got a few responses about it, and I was trying to kind of address these a little bit here. So we got Eli saying, why do we always neglect the fact that every time Prime Harden and company lost in the playoffs, it was against the KD Warriors. Nobody beat that team, and the Rockets were the closest team each year. And that's the thing, though. Like, when you focus so heavily on one player, what made that Warriors team so great is that they had other guys incorporated into the offense. Like, when it's just James Harden, you can almost let him do his thing, focus on playing defense on the passing lanes and just negate everybody else. So you got that. And then we got Mark saying, I don't know yet because he hasn't had a CP3 to have that option to differ, but you never know, LOL. And yeah, man, like, you look at the roster so far, and Luka hasn't really had that guy to play with yet. Now, also the thing about this comparison too is that Luka hit his, I don't want to say his peak. It's hard to think he can get much better than right now. Like, he's so good. Like, how do you get that much better? Where James Harden did kind of have like more like the trajectory of going up, and it's like once he left the OKC Thunder, that's where he really like broke out. So that's another thing where it's like James Harden, he was kind of a little bit later in his career when that all happened, but he did have some experience, getting to the NBA Finals with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook and everything, right? I just see that roster, and it just reminds me when the Rockets traded away Clint Capella and decided, PJ Tucker and Daniel House was going to be the front court, and all these guys were going to be surrounded by James Harden who would do heavy isolation. I just don't know if that's the correct method. Because honestly, when they had Clint Capella with James Harden, like, that actually kind of worked, man. Like, that pick and roll and everything, it was nice. That lob threat. So, what do you guys think? Luka Doncic, is he great for his own reasons? Is his career going to be nothing comparable to James Harden? Am I completely off topic right here, just even making this comparison whatsoever? You guys let me know in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and peace out, my friends.